Namaskar. Welcome to the day 3 of AI Agents Workshop brought to you by K.A.M.A.L.A, the Kapitwaj Association of Modern Logic, Automation, Learning and Career Advancement, in collaboration with Hack with India, the biggest hackathon organizer in India, powered by Microsoft Learn, our official certificate issuing partner. Today's topic is about LangChain core concepts. It is a very important topic in AI agents, in learning agentic AI. Our speaker, our esteemed guest for today is Mr. Anurag Mishra. Mr. Mishra, thank you very much for joining our workshop, for enabling us to learn from you. So before we get along, into the workshop, into the session, I wish to address a problem that we have been facing with the quiz platform. Those problems have been resolved. You will face no more problems today. You will get your certificates as soon as you submit the quizzes. Some of you have had a problem, some of you have had questions regarding how do you exactly get the completion certificates. So let me tell you, each quiz is of 10 points, right? And we have 8 quizzes. We had 9 quizzes. And also we have a hackathon on 22nd. Stay updated. You will be, given more information about the hackathon very, very soon. The hackathon is of 100 points. So 80 points for the quizzes, marked out of 270 points, and people who get 60% out of 270, 60%, again, not 60% of 270, they will be availed with the completion certificates. So if you have missed one quiz or 2 quizzes due to unfortunate situations, or you have learned about this workshop late, it is never late to join this workshop. Registrations are open until 21st or 20th probably. So yeah, do not get worried. We will be posting another video or a text or a blog about the marking system so that you guys do not get confused. So yeah, without delay, let's move on to LangChain core concepts by Mr. Anurag Mishra. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for the amazing response. We have clocked 1,000 views in just hours of uploading the videos, the live sessions. Thank you for the amazing response. And as always, happy learning.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this hands-on walkthrough of LangChain. This is one of the most powerful frameworks available today for building applications with LLMs. So in this session, we are going to explore LangChain step by step, starting from what it is and why it's useful, to building real-world examples using OpenAI models, and finally implementing smart agents that can reason and act. Whether you are just starting with LLMs, just getting started with it, or maybe you're looking to build more intelligent AI workflows, this is a small course that is designed to give you a practical foundation in LangChain. My name is Anurag Mishra, and here I am working as a system designer, technical specialist, and today we are going to give a hands-on experience on LangChain. So let's begin by understanding what LangChain is and why it's such an important tool in the modern LLM developer toolkit. Okay, so let's begin. We are going to start by understanding what is LangChain first. Right, so LangChain is an open source framework. It is designed to simplify the development of applications by large language models, or what we call as LLMs. You can understand it, for example, ChatGPT or Claude or open source ones like Llama. You can think of it like a toolkit. While OpenAI gives you the raw power of a language model, LangChain provides, all the glue codes and abstractions you need to integrate these models into real-world applications. So it helps you applications, agent with tools, reasoning flows, like quickly and modularly. You can connect your LLM with document tool, APIs, databases, and several other user inputs more easily when you are using language and dynamic prompt managements. You can have chains, so you have sequences of operations like prompt to LLM to output to next step. There are several agents, so basically LLMs that decide what actions to take and which tools to use. We are also talking about tool integration over here. So plug in some external APIs like calculators, web search, or maybe databases, as well as memory. So for context preservation across conversations, LangChain could be used for all these above uses. So instead of stitching things together manually, so LangChain gives you a structured way to create intelligent applications. We're also going to have a look at the architectural overview. So, at a high level, LangChain architecture is modular and layered. Get the LLMs and chat models, the core models like maybe ChatGPT 4 or Claude prompts. These prompts are custom templates that feed data into the model, and chains. So, combine multiple components together. For example, summarize a document, then translate the summary. You can see that these have been performing as chains. So first it's summarizing the document, and then it is also creating a highlight for the summary. Then comes the agents. So the LLM choose what applications, what tools, or what steps to take dynamically. And when it comes to the tools, we're talking about functions or APIs that the agent can use, like maybe calculators, database queries, or Python. And then, of course, you get the memory. So it stores past conversations, and it could, maybe in tones or state across interactions. So what it works like is that the user gives an input in form of a prompt that goes through the LLM. Then the LLM decides what tools to use or if chain logic is required. Then provide the output, and that output is finally given to the user. Therefore, LangChain lets you plug and play these components based on your app's complexity. So, deprecation warning. So basically, if there's any kind of a warning that is of a deprecatory nature, it's going to hide it out. Now, if you are running this for the first time and you are using LangChain for the first time, it's important that you do this, which is pip install LangChain, OpenAI, LangChain community. It's very important if you're running it for the first time. You don't need to do it the second or third time, but it's important if it's the first. Now, in this section, you can see that I have, from LangChain.chat models, import Azure Chat OpenAI. I have basically imported Azure Chat OpenAI from the chat models. I'll create a variable named LLM, and then I'm going to put all the important details required for me to establish a connection with the Azure Chat OpenAI. So I give the API key, I give the endpoint, I give the deployment name and the API version. All of this is important if I want to connect to the, Azure Chat OpenAI. Now, the important part is I want LangChain to respond. If I say hello LangChain, I want LangChain to respond. So I write from langchain.schema, I import human message. Here I write response equals LLM, and we say that the human message, its content would be hello LangChain. And then we want to print the response content. Whatever the content of the response is, we want to print it. So if I run this, you can see that it says, hello, it seems like you're mentioning LangChain, a popular framework for building applications with language models. So basically, it's going to reply to whatever you're going to say. So for example, if I don't write this and I say, hello, I am, let's say my name is Adam. So I'm going to write, hello, I am Adam, and I'm going to print this. You can say, hi, Adam, it's great to meet you. How can I assist you today? So, this is how it's going to respond. And that's it. We have made our first LangChain based LLM call using Azure OpenAI. Even though the prompt is simple, this code sets up the foundation for more advanced flows that could involve chat history, dynamic inputs, and even agent like behavior. In this portion, we are covering prompt templates. Let's see. We are going to see using prompt template for reusable prompts. We are also going to see the variables in the prompts. And then we'll see a demo where we personalize greeting generator. Let's focus on using prompt template for reusable prompts. In LangChain, one of the foundational component is the prompt template. So rather than hard coding prompts every time, prompt template allows you to create templates where you can insert dynamic content like maybe a name or a topic. Think of it like creating a fill in the blank sentence. For example, hello, you put in the name, welcome to, and you put in the place. When you use the template, you can insert maybe suppose Alice in Paris to generate hello Alice, welcome to Paris. This makes it easier to reuse and standardize prompts across your applications. So LangChain gives you a flexible API to do this. Let's focus on variables when it comes to prompts. So prompt template supports variables using Python style curly braces. These placeholders are, replaced dynamically when the prompt is used. So for example, if you put this import statement that from langchain.prompts, we are importing the prompt template. You can put in that the template should be prompt template.from template. What is the weather like? And you can give it a blank to fill in the city name. And then the prompt equals to template.format. And we are putting in Mumbai as the city where we want to know what is the weather like. This will generate the prompt. What is the weather like in Mumbai? You can insert multiple variables, loops through prompts, or even nest them. This super helpful in building like applications that are, maybe travel assistants, weather bots, business form fillers, custom interview assistants, all of that. This function is basically allowing you to create a default sentence with fill in the blanks, and then you can fill up the blank with the particular data that you want to feed into. And let's have a look at the demo as well. We are trying to create a personalized greeting generator.
Right, in this demo, we can see the script. So as usual, I start by writing the pip install LangChain OpenAI LangChain community. See, this is important if this is again your first script that you're trying to write here. Otherwise, if you have already installed, you don't have to do it again. Now, as usual, I have already mentioned all my API key details over here. I have added my endpoints, the deployment name, the API version, all of that. Now comes the central part of this script, the main component. You can see that I have imported the prompt template from the langchain.prompts, and I've also imported the human message from the LangChain schema. We are also trying to create two variables where we are writing the input. So we are taking input from the user for what is your name and input for which place are you visiting. Now we create a template variable. We name it template and we write prompt template dot from dash template. So basically we are trying to create a template of a prompt for here where we describe create a warm and friendly greeting for someone named and then the name and who just arrived in and then the place. So this is basically a greeting generator now. We write prompt as a variable and we write equals template dot format and we write the name equals name and place equals place. We also write the response for LLM.invoke and we write the human message and we add the content equals prompt. Finally, we are adding the print statement over here and we are writing generated greeting, and then we add it to the next line and we write the response.content. So what is the final response? And if you run this, it would ask you for your name. Let's just suppose my name is Adam. And let's say I want to visit Bangalore. So you can see that it has created a very warm greeting for me. It says, "Welcome to Bangalore, Adam. It's so wonderful to have you in the heart of India's tech hub and garden city." And the rest is, you can see what it is. So this is how we have finally created a greeting generator. It's simple but effective.
Right. Now we are going to talk about LLMs and chat models. We already discussed what an LLM is in the previous slides. So in this topic, we're going to cover the difference between LLM and chat model in LangChain. We're going to use OpenAI or Hugging Face models. We're also going to see a demo where we build a chatbot with a system prompt and dynamic user input. Let's start by understanding the difference between LLM and chat models in LangChain. So, in LangChain, there are two primary model classes you will work with. First is model type LLM, which is your language model. It is used for a single turn text completion, like GPT-3. But when it comes to chat model, we're used for multi-turn conversations, like ChatGPT-3. To simplify this, let's understand through an example. If you're sending a plain prompt like write a blog post about electric cars, you would use an LLM. But on the other hand, if you are building an app that keeps track of roles in a conversation, like system or user or an assistant, use chat model. Most modern apps, including chatbots, are built using chat models because they allow structured message passing with roles. Let's try to understand using OpenAI or Hugging Face models. How do we do that? What are the first steps that needs to be taken? But first, let's understand it. LangChain is a model agnostic. This means you can plug in OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Hugging Face, or even local models like Llama or Mistral. So, with OpenAI or Azure OpenAI, you usually use from langchain.chat models import Azure Chat OpenAI. And once again, I'm not reading it, but you need to ensure to put the underscores in the proper places. When it comes to Hugging Face, you can do from langchain.llms and then you can import Hugging Face pipeline. But just remember, LLMs require only a string prompt. Chat models, on the other hand, work with messages. These are Python dictionaries or LangChain objects with roles, for example, system or user or assistant, as I said before. All right, now we are going to start by understanding the demo. Building a chatbot with system prompt and user input dynamically. In this third demo, as you can see, I have started again. I have already added all my API information over here. And then we can go to the main component of the code, the main component of the script. So I have from the langchain.schema imported human message and system message over here. Step 1 is to get your user's query. So I write user-input and we take the input. We write u so that the user knows that this is where he adds his, details. Then we add the second step, which is here we are defining basically the system and user message. So the system message we can add by creating a block, the messages block. In this block, I have written system message and I have added the content. You are a helpful, polite assistant that responds concisely. Now comes the human message, and for that we have added the user input that we will be taking from the user as a query. Third step is to get the response. So we write response equals LLM.invoke and we put in the messages. So we are just using the messages block over here. Step 4 is as usual to display the final output. We take the print statement, we write /n assistant so that in the next line, the response of the content comes out. So let's see how it responds. If I say, hello, how are you today? And I just run it. So the assistant says, hello, I'm a virtual assistant, but I'm here and ready to help. How can I assist you today? Great. We have made it so far. And now we are going to take a look at our next topic, which is chains. We're going to cover what are chains in LangChain. We're also going to cover the LLM chain basics. Also, after that, we are going to have a look at the demo where we have a text summarizer chain and we can feed article and get a summary. This is going to be fun. Let's start by understanding what are chains when it comes to LangChain. LangChain, as we know, as the name suggests, it's a chain of language. Therefore, LangChain. In LangChain, a chain is a pipeline of steps. These steps connect different components together, like LLMs, like prompt templates, tools, memory, etc. Instead of manually calling an LLM, you can wrap it into a reusable chain and combine multiple chains for complex workflow. For example, you can create a chain that, takes the user input, inserts it into a prompt, sends it to an LLM, and then passes the output and returns a clean result. LangChain comes with many built-in chains, but the most common and beginner-friendly one is LLM chain. And what it is used for? Well, it is used for running a prompt. That prompt goes to the LLM. The LLM processes it and gives it to the output pipeline. Let's start by understanding LLM chains basics because this is very important when it comes to create programs, a bunch of codes that you want to create where you want to run an LLM chain. So to build an LLM chain, we need to understand that we need three important things. First would be your prompt template. What it does? Well, this defines the structure of the input to the model. LLM or chat model, the actual model that generates output. LLM chain, well, this wraps the above into an executable chain. And the structure goes as follow. So we are creating a function LLM chain and we are providing it with a couple of things. For example, you are giving it prompt equals to prompt template, and then you can insert the following that you have. Then you get the LLM Azure Open Chat AI, and you can fill up the details. So when you basically call .run, you're basically on this chain and it takes the inputs and plugs them into the prompt. Then it passes it to the LLM and returns the output. To understand this better, let's create what I said as a text summarizer chain. Let's build a simple summarizer using LLM chain. We'll take a long text input and generate a short summary. So in the demo 4, we are going to check out how to create a summarizer. So how we are going to begin is, as usual, I start with my, importing my Azure Chat OpenAI from the LangChain.chat models. I put in my API information, and now we come to the main part of the script. I import human message from LangChain.schema. Now, As you can see, I have divided into three important steps. So the first step is to get article from user. So I would write text equals input, and then I would give a hint to the user that they need to paste the article or the paragraph that needs to be summarized. My step two is to summarize the prompt. So write prompt equals, and then I add summarize the following article in 3 to 4 sentences. So this prompt will help the model understand that we require the summarization in 3 to 4 sentences. Like, you can also take this as an input from user, or you can add even more details to this prompt. I have done this far and I think this is good for me. I would also write the response equals LLM.invoke. I would use the human message and my content would be the prompt. The prompt is this. Now, I have to show the summary. So I'm going to print, summary and then response.content. So now let's run this and find out what's going on. So you can see that it's asking me to paste my article. Let me just go to any website. Let's take this for a look. As you can see that it has lots of stuff over here. So what I'm going to do is, for an example, I'm going to take this part. I'm going to paste it here. And I will scroll down and find out more since this article is divided. So I'll just take this much, which is important. And then I'll just add a space bar and add it all. Now I hit the enter. So you saw within seconds it gave me the entire summary, and you can see that this is very short compared to the whole article. So this is how we have finally created, a short summarizer using LangChain. Right. So now let's dive into the final module of your LangChain walkthrough. This is the most exciting and powerful one. In this, we are going to cover tools and agents. What are we going to basically talk about is, what are tools and agents in LangChain? We are trying to understand the zero-shot React agent. At the end, we are going to understand building an agent that uses a calculator tool. Let's begin. First, let's discuss what are tools and agents when it comes to LangChain. As your application grows more advanced, you will want your LLMs to do more than just answer questions. You will want them to use external tools like maybe a calculator or web searches. Choose which tool to use. You can react to the results and make multi-step decisions. This is where agents and tools actually come into play. So let's understand what is a tool, what is an agent. Let's start by understanding what's a tool. A tool is simply a function you expose to the LLM. For example, maybe a calculator, file reader, or web search. You define what the tool does, give it a name and description, and LangChain handles letting the model use it. What is an agent? Well, an agent is a smart wrapper around that LLM. What it does? Well, it thinks step by step, React style. Decides what tool to use, executes it, and continues the reasoning process until it gives the final answer. Agents are like smart assistants with memory and logic. Now, we are going to understand the zero-shot React agent. One powerful agent type in LangChain is the zero-shot React agent. It uses a method called React. React stands for reasoning and acting, to think and act at each step. Zero shot means we don't need to train it. Just give it a prompt, a list of tools, and the agent figures out how to use them. This is super useful when you want to let the model solve open-ended tasks like what is 45% of 220. The model knows this is a calculation. It will automatically choose the calculator tool. Now let's have a look at the demo. We're going to build an agent that uses the calculator. Let's build a LangChain agent that can perform calculations using a tool. We'll ask it questions like what is 45% of 220 and let the agent pick the calculator tool. As you can see in this script, we are trying to create a model where when we give a sentence that could be translated into a mathematical expression, it would solve and give us the answer. So let's see. I start by simply, importing Azure Chat OpenAI from LangChain.chat models as usual. I fill in up my API details, and then comes the most important part of the script. So we are going to import initialize agent and tool from LangChain.agents. We're going to import tool from LangChain-community.tools. We are also trying to import agent type from LangChain.agents.agent-types. And of course, we are trying to import the human message from LangChain.schema. Our first step is to define calculator tool. So we write add tool. We write the def. So we are defining this function. So we write def calculator. We are adding expression string. We are trying to evaluate a mathematical expression like maybe 45% of 200. We are trying to have a try and accept block. So we have the return statement over here, return string. We are trying to evaluate. So we write expression.replace. We're adding the mod function, and this is by 100 by 100 asterisk. So basically we are trying to find out anything that may create an error. If it creates an error, it would create an exception and show the error. Now we write tools equals to tool. We write the tool's name basically. We add the function as a calculator. We add the description as useful for mathematical calculations. And then we come to the step 2, which is to initialize the agent. So I write in agent equals initialize agent function. I add the tools. I add the LLM. I add the agent. So I write agent type dot zero short. We add description and we add the verbose equals to false. Step 3 is to get input from user. So I write question equals input and I ask the user enter your math question. For example, what is 45% of 220? Step 4 would be to run the agent. We write response equals agent.run and add this question variable over here so that the agent knows what is the question. Step 5 would be to show the result. So I write print / an answer so that the answer comes in, the response comes in the next line, and that's it. So let's run and test this out. Here we go. So it says enter your math question and it gives an example. Let's try what is 10% of 200 and I press enter. It's going to run this and it would give the answer 10% of 200 is 20. So there you go. Now you can see what is going on in here. We are getting a mathematical answer from simple sentences that we are typing. Well, that brings us to the end of this LangChain walkthrough. We have covered the key building blocks of LangChain, including prompts, templates, chat models, chains, and agents. We have also built live examples for each concept to show how LangChain simplifies and scales your LLM applications. With these skills, you now have the foundation to go beyond simple prompts and start building interactive, intelligent and tool using LLM agents for real-world use cases. Thank you for joining me in this training session. I hope it helps you confidently start your journey with LangChain, and it inspires new ideas for your next AI project. So, until next time, happy building.